What's up, everybody? Evan here for Grips.com, continuing with Project Get Me Stackin. Today's question comes from a frustrated poker player, to say the least. He's also a newer poker player. And if you sometimes feel the same way, you get frustrated, you get tilted, you're like, should I keep fucking playing this game? Then that's okay. We always have self-doubt. And this video is designed to help you gain some perspective and plan things out so that you can decide whether you should continue playing, stick with the game, whether you should increase your focus on the game or phase it out from your life completely, which is okay too. So here we go. Hi, Evan. Right, this is an absolute essay, so I apologize. The short version is, I'm losing. Now, I only put in the money I could afford as a university student to lose, so I set myself up with a measly $80 in my account. Losing this money isn't the end of the world, but it's hurting me watching it go up in smoke when I was hoping to make a profit. I'm not sure it is the money so much as it is the losing because I'm highly competitive. If this sounds like you, don't stop watching. I can't seem to win anywhere. I tried micro stakes cash games, got crushed a few times, dealt out some bad beats, but ended up frustrated watching winning sessions turn into losing sessions in a couple of hands, and I thought I'd try out another format. And then he goes on to say how that didn't work. I know this is a lot of info, and I know there is limits to what you can offer me, but I'm struggling to stay in the game. I could still cash out what I have left and save myself some money. He's talking about the $40 he has left or so. I do want to be good at poker. I hate losing, and I can take a bad beat. But with my constant losing, I've started to tilt worse and worse and for longer and longer. So I mean, this is like super common for people who have just started out playing. The first thing is, if you've just made a deposit, your expectations are probably going to be quite different than what the realistic expectation is, and odds are you're going to play higher than you should, and the swings you're going to experience are going to seem like crazy and like dramatic, when in reality it's just variance. There's going to be some ups and downs. But I've typed out something nice on this, so let's go ahead and just get into the presentation. Ooh, gotta get it ready. It's been a while since I did this. Whew. There we go. Still got the sound effects. Now, my response here is primarily going to be aimed at people who have been playing for less than a year, as you probably have a different perspective than those who have been in the thick of it for an extended period. With that preface in play, let's start talking about it. So, first thing, I want you to answer, how long have you been playing poker? Write that down. Next, what was your first experience with poker, and what about that experience drew you into the game? Write that down. For me, it was watching Chris Moneymaker win the main event at the World Series of Poker and seeing that stacks the $2.5 million on tail and be like, man, I want that. I want to be sitting there playing for that. Okay, so with that written down, you now have a small picture of what you probably desire to get from the game. This is very important because a lot of people who play poker are very much drawn into it for the instant gratification and the illusion of the get-rich-quick scheme that the game provides. When it comes to get-rich-quick, it's not the truth, and it's not why you should play. But once you can put the money aside and really identify why you want to play, you can shape your poker playing experience to match those desires yielding happiness, and avoiding frustration. And we all want to have fun when we're playing poker, right? There's no point in spending your time doing something you hate. So, let's stack the deck in your favor. If you play poker for fun, then that is fantastic. Poker is a very social, very fun, and very challenging game that allows you to use your wits and outsmart your opponents. It can be really satisfying. I kind of think that poker's like the new golf, except minus the exercise part. So if fun is your reason for playing, then happiness should always be at the forefront of your mind. If, for whatever reason, the game isn't fun anymore, then yes, you should quit. And the next few points here address the main reasons why the game becomes less fun. Online poker, unlike live poker, involves you playing at the computer, isolated from other people. As social creatures, we receive a lot of satisfaction and pleasure from social interactions. Take that element out of poker, and that's one less source of fun in the game. Now, if you're a big strategist or e-gamer, then this probably isn't an issue. But to maximize your fun levels, playing in real life, face-to-face, preferably with some friends, is a great way to keep things fun. Building on this, money is a very sensitive topic with a lot of people. Money can quickly change things from fun to very much uneasy, on edge, uncomfortable. So make sure the amount of money you're playing for is not an amount that's going to leave anyone hurt if they lose. And building on that, don't be in a rush to jump the stakes just to get even. That puts pressure on yourself and others, will leave you doubly upset if you lose that break-even game, and will shift the focus towards winning when the real focus should be having fun. Winning is a nice to have in these situations, but it's not a need to have. And when you play poker for fun, your goal should be to have as many laughs and smiles as possible at your game so that everyone goes home feeling like they had a good night and their investment in the game was well spent. If you are no longer having fun, yes, you should quit, or at least take a break. Reason number 2, which is a big reason that people are drawn to poker, is for the rush or the gambler's high that is associated with games of chance. And this is a very dangerous slope. I've put this point in the middle of the presentation because I don't want it to be looked over, and oftentimes people will say they play for reasons 1, 3, or 4, which you'll see soon enough, when in reality this is the reason they play. They play for that high. So if you play for the rush, the high, ask yourself what is it about gambling that makes you feel alive? And ask yourself, what void is it in your life that you are trying to fill with gambling? Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's not gambling, it's poker. It's a game of skill with an element of chance rather than being purely a game of chance. This is totally true, totally spot on. Poker is a skill game. But as far as your brain is concerned, in terms of the chemical reactions that happen in there while exposed to games of chance, in terms of how your brain interprets what's going on, poker is no different than craps, roulette, blackjack, lotteries, slot machines, etc., until you've trained your brain to understand otherwise. So parts of your brain are greatly stimulated by games of chance, by that uncertainty. And those parts can trigger other destructive behaviors and addictive tendencies. So I'm just saying, exercise caution and be careful if you're new to this. You don't understand everything about it. Now, I am by no means an expert on this, but I have seen differences in my own behavior when I'm taking a professional approach to the game versus when I'm not. I notice the difference in how I feel. I notice the difference in terms of what things I desire, what things I crave, and it's real. I've been playing for 10 years. I've had moments where I was just playing for fun. I've had moments where I've been playing as a professional, and views into both. So please recognize, I know the difference. So please be honest with yourself, because poker is not for everyone. If you're susceptible to addiction issues, then yes, you probably should quit poker, at least until you've had the opportunity to bring your life into a greater state of balance where you will be less susceptible to the draw and pull of the gambling demons. Now, it's not saying poker's all bad. That's not saying gambling's all bad. It's just saying that you have to be careful and you have to have a greater understanding of what exactly the game is and how exactly your brain and body react to it. Because when you don't understand it, it can totally control you and lead to bad things. But when you do understand it, you can exercise power and you can exercise discipline and experience great gains and great compensation from that understanding. So let's talk about reason number 3. I play poker to make money. If you play poker to make money, which is a great reason to play, awesome. This game is one that gives great opportunity to smart, hardworking, dedicated individuals who understand mathematics and investment strategies. In fact, I think for students and those who don't have access to those high-paying jobs just yet, that poker is actually one of the best, if not the most lucrative option out there. But as I mentioned before, and this is why I prefaced with reason number 2, that's only for those who have self-control and self-awareness due to those risks that I mentioned previously. So if you play poker to make money, you need to be honest with yourself. Do you act rationally or do you act emotionally? Write that down. Also, you need to ask yourself, are you a long-term, big picture thinker or a short-term, what's happening right now kind of thinker? Write that down. If you answer the second option to either question, maybe you need to reevaluate why you are actually playing poker and be honest with yourself. Because to make money at this game requires rational thought and discipline and acceptance that the money comes over the long run and that the swings day to day and session to session swings are not reflective of your actual ability and expectation of how much you will be earning from playing. Short-term swings are just that. They're swings. They're whether or not you are on the right side of the setup or on the wrong side of the setup. They aren't reflective of how much you will really gain if you play tens of thousands of hands. Also, if you play to make money, you probably want to make as much money as possible. So you want to ensure that you also take time to study, learn new things, expose yourself to new ideas, and make an effort to eliminate mistakes. If you could find a way to never make the same mistake twice in poker, you could probably become an elite player in less than a year. But poor self-awareness and unwillingness to examine oneself is usually the main obstacle to such a speedy development. If you're willing to look in the mirror and acknowledge who's actually in the mirror and not pretend that the person in the mirror is someone else and that you are a person on a TV screen instead, you're gonna get changes much more quickly rather than being stuck in the same place. Okay? And the last reason is because you want to be a poker pro. And this is something that I really wanted to touch on because a lot of people who come through my channel misconstrue my message. When I say that I want to help you become the best poker player you can be, I'm not saying you need to become so good that you make your entire living from poker, can play the circuit and all that stuff. That's just not in the cards for everybody. When I say I want to help you become the best poker player you can be, I'm saying that I want to help you become the best player you can be given your circumstances, given your life situation, your responsibilities, your other tasks, interests, duties, what have you. Because let's be honest, we don't all have 30 hours a week available to study poker and another 50 hours to play. We have school, we have jobs, we have families to take care of. And as much as you may love poker, you may not love it as much if it was your career and your only source of income, or if you had to spend hundreds of hours every week studying all the little intricacies of the game and breaking it down to its most technical elements. Maybe that's not fun for you. So it's very important to have the right perspective on this and realize, why do you play poker? Write it down. It's okay to not want to be the next Negreanu. It's okay to play poker just for shits and giggles, as long as you're not playing for too much money. The important thing is that you allocate your playtime and your study time according to the reasons that you play. If you want to be a pro, you better be putting in serious hours to every facet of your personal development. If you play for money, but you're not intending to do it for the long term, then study strategy and you're good. You don't need to worry about all the other stuff that goes into being a professional. You know, maybe you don't even need to worry about bankroll management or record keeping because you know you have the ability to perform well and you're getting enough in the way of cash outs. And if you play for fun, then don't obsess over studying and worrying that you don't know everything. You don't need to know everything to have a good time. And lastly, of course, if you play as an escape, I would encourage you to exercise caution around this game because it can be very dangerous, especially to, you know, that younger generation who, you know, you guys are just more susceptible and you have to be more careful about what you expose yourself to. Okay. So that wraps up my presentation on whether or not you should quit poker. Okay? It's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I hope that you guys appreciate my thoughts on it. Poker's awesome. Poker's awesome. Poker's lots of fun. Poker can be really profitable, but poker can also take over your life if you're not careful. You know, you gotta make sure that all other areas of your life are in order to be able to kind of combat the pull of the gambling beast that is. When everything else is in balance, everything is in order, you're not going to get drawn in by gambling. But if you're feeling, you know, weak or depressed or upset or whatever, you're going to be much more susceptible to the draws of gambling because it gives you that excitement, it gives you that feeling of aliveness. But that should not be the reason that you're playing poker. You should play poker for fun, to make money, because you want to be a pro, as an excuse to get together with the boys, you know, any positive reason, but never play because it makes you feel alive. If that's your only reason, you need to do some evaluation, be careful. Anyway, I personally am going to do more research into gambling addiction because I want to be able to help you guys, so I went ahead and purchased this book from the Harvard Medical School, Change Your Gambling, Change Your Life. I have no idea what's inside, but I think after getting through it, I will be able to help more with these sorts of questions and these sorts of things, because I'm not just about helping people become the best poker player they can be. I want to help them become the best people they can be, and if that means helping them deal with an issue that is preventing them from being the best person they can be, I want to be able to do that as well. And I also really want us to harp on the fact that, like, it's okay to not want to be a pro. You know, it's okay to just play, just, you know, for a little bit of excitement on the weekend. You know, for like some small amount of money. That's totally fine. I think that people are too hard on themselves these days. It's important to remember, like, it's okay to just do for the sake of doing and to have fun. We don't necessarily need to be number one at whatever it is that we're doing. It's okay to just be a participant in the game rather than the person who runs the game. Especially if you have something else in your life that you're specializing on or focusing on. You don't want to take too many hours away from that to focus on something that is, you know, a minor element in your life. You can learn how to be a decent player very easily. You can learn how to be a great player with some challenge, but if you want to be the best, the level of dedication and sacrifice is extremely high. So be honest with yourself. You want to do that before you say, oh, I want to be the next poker pro. So anyway, I'm really excited to be back doing Project Get Me Stackin, and future ones will be focused more on strategy stuff like the old Project Get Me Stackins were, but I thought this was a really important one to put out there first to lay the foundation so that those of you who are watching these videos will know which ones to watch. You know, if you're playing for fun, you don't need to necessarily watch the hardcore technical videos, and if you want to be a pro, you probably want to watch every single piece of content I upload on this channel. So anyway, please give me your feedback, give me your comments. I always like to hear what you guys have to say, and I always try to incorporate that feedback into my future videos so that I can give you a better learning and watching experience. Yeah, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I think that's it. That's going to do it for me. I'm just excited to be back making videos, hammer them out. Oh, and don't forget to join us for Free Money Friday every Friday at twitch.tv/grips. Don't worry, I'll make another video explaining how that whole thing works. So it's going to do it for me. This has been Evan for Gripst.com saying peace, patience, and progress. Now you know what to do. Take what you learned, go out there, and get stacked.